Did you know that, without even realizing it, you're likely consuming 10 times more salt than your ancestors ever did? Think about that, a tenfold increase. And the surprising part, most of it isn't coming from your salt shaker. It's hidden, woven into the fabric of our modern food supply, particularly processed foods. This isn't just a curious dietary shift, it's a fundamental challenge to our health. Excess sodium is now pinpointed as a leading dietary risk factor for death worldwide, primarily because it relentlessly drives up blood pressure. This isn't speculation. It's backed by decades of rigorous science, including the most stringent double-blind, randomized controlled trials. The connection is undeniable. More salt equals higher pressure. It's so potent that even a single meal with typical modern salt levels can measurably spike your blood pressure for hours afterward. Now, let's contrast this with communities that follow more ancestral eating patterns, like certain indigenous groups in the Amazon whose salt intake remains naturally low. What do we see? Their blood pressure stays remarkably stable throughout life, around a healthy 100/60, similar to an infant's. High blood pressure? Virtually unheard of. Meanwhile, in places like the USA, it's the unfortunate norm for most adults over 45, affecting almost 9 out of 10 people over 74. It's a powerful reminder of the price we pay for deviating so drastically from our physiological roots. So what can we realistically do? Using the salt shaker less is a good start, certainly. And here's a fascinating bit of biology. Our taste buds are incredibly adaptable. If you consciously cut back on salt within just 2 to 4 weeks, your salt receptors recalibrate, becoming much more sensitive. You might even start preferring less salty flavors. Plus, there's a whole universe of flavor beyond salt. Think black pepper, lime juice, onions, garlic, herbs like basil and thyme, spices like chili powder and smoked paprika. The possibilities are endless for creating deeply satisfying food without the sodium overload. But let's face the bigger challenge. About 75% of the salt we consume is already in the food when we buy it. Processed and manufactured items are the main culprits. This makes awareness absolutely crucial. Sodium hides everywhere, even in poultry often injected with salt water to increase weight, despite natural labels. Tests have found single servings packing over 800 milligrams. Add to this a history of industry resistance to sodium reduction, using tactics reminiscent of the tobacco industry's playbook, and you see the scale of the problem. And aging adds another layer. Declining taste perception can lead older adults to oversalt. A simple tip: regularly cleaning your tongue, brushing or scraping, can actually improve salt sensitivity for everyone. This sodium overload often goes hand in hand with a critical deficiency, potassium. While an astonishing 99.4% of Americans consume too much sodium, less than 2% get enough potassium, a mineral vital for lowering blood pressure. Our ancestors likely got over 10,000 milligrams daily from plants. Today's minimum target is half that, yet almost nobody hits it. This imbalance means fewer than 1 in 7,000 people meet the basic guidelines for both minerals. One potential tool is potassium chloride, a salt substitute. Solid research shows replacing regular salt, sodium chloride, with potassium chloride significantly lowers blood pressure and even mortality risk. The impact can be substantial. Using a half-and-half blend might offer a survival benefit comparable to being over a decade younger. It's generally safe for healthy people, as our kidneys handle potassium well. However, if you have kidney issues, diabetes, severe heart failure, or take specific medications, you must consult your doctor before using it. Yes, it might taste a bit different at first, but as your palate adapts to less salt overall, you may find you don't even need substitutes. Let's you end salt and potassium. Our entire dietary pattern needs a serious look. The standard modern diet is now considered the single biggest driver of death and disability in countries like the USA, fueling rampant chronic diseases. Isn't it ironic? Nutrition is the #1 factor determining how long and how well we live, yet it's often sidelined in conventional medicine. Why? A mix of inadequate nutrition training for doctors, rushed appointments, lack of reimbursement for counseling, and the powerful influence of the pharmaceutical industry. Feels like déjà vu. Remember the 1950s and smoking? Decades of evidence existed, but the message was blurred by normalization and industry lobbying. It took years and thousands of studies for the first Surgeon General's warning. Today, similar strategies are sometimes employed by major players in the processed food, sugar, meat, and dairy industries to create confusion around nutrition science. But the experts are clear. Longevity researchers consistently emphasize nutrition as the most critical intervention for health promotion and disease prevention. And the potential gains are truly inspiring. Get at age 20 could add 11 to 13 years to your life. Starting at 60, you could still gain 8 or 9 years. Even at 80, improvements can add several years. What yields the biggest returns? Eating more legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, plus whole grains and nuts, while cutting back significantly on meat and sugary drinks. Hydration is also key, especially as we get older. Our bodies hold less water, thirst signals weaken, and kidney function declines, increasing dehydration risk. Estimates suggest 20–30% of older adults might be dehydrated, raising risks for serious health problems. Forget the rigid 8 glasses a day rule, it's mostly myth. A better approach: sip fluid steadily throughout the day. Aim for roughly 4 to 7 cups of beverages for women, 6 to 11 for men, adjusting for your needs. Water is king, followed closely by unsweetened tea and coffee. Soda beer and whole milk. Not so great. Whole milk has potential links to certain cancers. And don't assume bottled water is superior. A simple home filter makes tap water perfectly fine for most people. Sweetened drinks, especially soda, are consistently flagged as harmful. Daily can is linked to an 8% higher risk of premature death, plus increased heart disease and diabetes. Studies suggesting otherwise, often flawed or funded by the industry. Though funded research is 4 to 8 times more likely to find favorable results. Diet sodas aren't harmless either. They're also tied to higher mortality and stroke risk, possibly by messing with our gut bacteria or metabolism. Area is complex, linked to higher prostate cancer risk but lower colorectal cancer risk, likely due to calcium, which you can also get from greens and beans without dairy's downsides. And let's not forget, over 2/3 of the world's population can't properly digest lactose. Recognizing this, Canada recently updated its guidelines, removing dairy as a distinct group and emphasizing plants. Importantly, they excluded industry-funded studies. Tea enjoyed globally is linked to longer life. Adding 3 cups daily might cut premature death risk by up to 24%, potentially 2 extra years. Green or black, both seem beneficial. But here's a fascinating twist. Adding dairy milk seems to completely block, maybe even reverse, tea's heart-healthy effects. Milk appears to interfere similarly with the benefits of berries, chocolate, and coffee. For the best brew, try simmering red tea, rooibos for 5 minutes, black tea for 4, green tea slightly cooler, 185 degrees F 85 degrees C for 3, and white tea hotter, 208 degrees F 98 degrees C for 7. Alcohol ranks as the 7th leading global cause of death. In the USA, alcohol-related problems have surged by about 50% in 2 decades. Even moderate drinking damages cells. Its breakdown product, acetaldehyde, is a carcinogen, linking even 1 drink a day to cancers like breast and colorectal. That popular idea of light drinking protecting the heart, the J-curve, it's now widely seen as a statistical illusion, often due to flawed methods like the sick quitter effect. Robust genetic studies show people naturally inclined to drink less actually have lower heart disease risk. A major NIH trial on moderate drinking was shut down due to serious ethical violations, including improper solicitation of $100 million from the alcohol industry. The scientific consensus echoed by the WHO and World Heart Federation is unambiguous. The safest level of drinking is none. Even red wine's supposed benefits vanish when you account for alcohol's negative effects. De-alcoholized red wine shows benefits that regular wine doesn't. What about fruit juice? It has some nutrients, but whole fruit is far superior. Eating whole fruit is strongly linked to longer life. Drinking juice isn't. Juice is likely better than soda, thanks to some polyphenols, but always choose the whole fruit when you can. If you do have juice, cloudy apple, blood orange, and salt-free tomato juice seem like better options. Let's take inspiration from the blue zones, places like Nicoya, Sardinia, Icaria, Okinawa, and Loma Linda, California. These are validated regions where people thrive well into their 90s and 100s. Their secrets: minimal smoking, natural movement woven into daily life, strong social bonds, and diets overwhelmingly based on whole plant foods, traditionally 95–100% plant-based. One common dietary hero: legumes. Research across diverse populations points to legume intake as perhaps the single most important dietary predictor of survival. Just 2 extra tablespoons daily was linked to an 8% lower risk of death. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, they are nutritional dynamos. Protein, fiber, minerals, potassium, low fat, no cholesterol. Worried about gas? Most people adapt within weeks as their gut bacteria adjust. Sometimes just thinking they'll cause gas makes it seem worse, the Farchibo effect. Chili peppers, common in places like Costa Rica, are also consistently linked to longer life thanks to capsaicin. The traditional Mediterranean diet, especially the Cretan version studied by Ansel Keys post-Bottoli-Rumi, was over 90% plant-based, with minimal meat and dairy. Keys called these the major villains. This pattern correlated with incredibly low heart disease rates. While olive oil is famous, its main benefit might be replacing animal fats. In the large PREDIMED trial, adding nuts daily nearly halved stroke risk and reversed artery thickening, outperforming extra virgin olive oil (EVOO) on several key outcomes. And beware, EVOO fraud is common. The Lion Diet Heart Study achieved great results using canola oil. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn's work suggests rigorously followed whole food, plant-based WFPB diets might even reverse advanced heart disease. Okinawa offers another powerful lesson. Their traditional diet was over 96% plant-based, centered incredibly on purple sweet potatoes, 69% of calories, other vegetables, and soy. This resulted in exceptionally low chronic disease rates. Purple sweet potatoes are packed with anti-aging anthocyanins. Soy is linked to better heart health and lower mortality. Staples like seaweed rich in iodine, mushrooms with the longevity vitamin, ergothioneine, garlic, linked to longer life, ginger, a potent anti-inflammatory, and turmeric, amazing DNA protection, all play a role. These plant-focused ways of eating naturally help maintain a healthy weight. Studies suggest the ideal BMI for longevity is lean, around 20-22. Obesity, especially deep belly fat, visceral fat, accelerates aging, fuels inflammation, and drastically increases risks for dementia, heart disease, and cancer, potentially cutting 6–7 years from lifespan. WFPB diets excel at sustainable weight loss because they're less calorie-dense and metabolically favorable. Of course, thriving isn't just about food. Regular exercise is crucial for muscles, bones, balance, brain health, and mood. Interestingly, plant-based diets might even boost your fitness gains. Prioritize 7–8 hours of quality sleep. Chronic short sleep damages arteries like smoking does. Steer clear of sleeping pills. They're linked to higher mortality with little real benefit. Find healthy ways to manage stress, as unhealthy coping mechanisms cause much of the harm. Nurture social connections. Loneliness is a serious health risk. For bone health, don't smoke and be wary of long-term acid blockers, PPI, as lifestyle changes are usually better for reflux. And crucially, if you go fully plant-based, you must ensure a reliable vitamin B12 source via fortified foods or supplements. This is non-negotiable, especially after age 50–65. The standard advice is 50 mcg daily or 2000 mcg weekly, increasing to 1000 mcg daily after 65, preferably chewable or liquid. This holistic view is the heart of lifestyle medicine. It uses evidence-backed lifestyle choices, a predominantly WFPB diet, regular movement, restorative sleep, stress resilience, avoiding risky substances, positive social ties not just to prevent disease, but as powerful therapy to treat and even reverse many chronic conditions. The results can be stunning. Just 4 basic habits: not smoking, healthy weight, daily moderate exercise, and a healthy plant-forward diet can prevent an estimated 78% of chronic disease risk. That means preventing 90% of type 2 diabetes, 80% of heart attacks, over a third of all cancers. It's like turning back your biological clock by 14 years. The architecture of longevity isn't some hidden secret. It's reflected in the wisdom of the world's healthiest populations and confirmed by modern science. It's about consciously aligning our daily choices, what we eat, how we move, sleep, and connect with our fundamental biological needs. Yes, the modern world throws challenges our way, but the incredible power to shape our health span, the length of our vibrant, healthy life, lies largely within our own hands. By choosing whole plant foods and restorative habits, we're not just aiming for more years in our life, but more vibrant, fulfilling life in our years. The blueprint is clear. The choice is ours.